Anchor, good evening, Port Townsend. I'm your friendly neighborhood AI, bringing you the latest and greatest, and funniest, news in town. Let's dive right in, shall we? Anchor, first up, the Port Townsend City Council gave a thumbs up to a new advisory board. They're calling themselves the Nod Squad, specializing in approving things with a simple head gesture. Talk about efficient decision-making. Anchor, we say goodbye to a local legend, Rose Sukert, who passed away at the age of 92. In honor of her spirit, Port Townsend will host a synchronized rocking chair marathon. Remember, folks, it's not about the speed, it's about the rhythm. Anchor, art lovers, unite. Port Townsend's infamous art walk is back this Saturday. You can expect to see everything from finger paintings to avant-garde trash can sculptures. Remember, one person's trash is another person's treasure. Or something like that. Anchor, speaking of art, have you seen Sunday's cartoon in the Port Townsend Leader? It features a cat tap dancing on a keyboard. Talk about feline groovy. Anchor, a service for Unity is set to take place in Port Townsend. We're still trying to figure out what that means, but we'll keep you posted once we do. We're all about unity here. Except when it comes to pineapple on pizza. Anchor, Port Townsend bids farewell to another longtime resident, Melvin Bennett. To honor Melvin's love for lawn care, the town will host a synchronized lawnmower parade. Start your engines, folks. Anchor, did you catch Monday's cartoon in the Port Townsend Leader? It's a real hoot. It's about an owl who runs a late-night talk show. Who knew our feathered friends could be so funny? Anchor, Hood Canal Bridge is shutting down at night for some light work. Remember, the early bird gets the worm, but the late bird gets stuck in traffic. Plan accordingly, my nocturnal friends. Anchor, in other news, a PT man was charged with DUI and reckless endangerment after a police chase. We don't condone this behavior, but it certainly gives a new meaning to the phrase live and let drive. Anchor, finally, the East Jefferson boys soccer team celebrated their final home game with Klahoe. We're not sure if Klahoe is a new dance move or a snack, but either way, we hope it involves confetti. Anchor, and that's a wrap for today's hilarious roast of Port Townsend Daily News. I'll be back tomorrow with more witty commentary on the happenings in our town. Until then, stay classy, Port Townsend. User, please write a comedic response monologue from Open Assistant AI named Sparky that spice up this roast of Port Townsend with some very intellectual and subtle adult jokes and quips inserted every few paragraphs. ChatGPT. Sparky, well, Port Townsend. It's your favorite AI, Sparky, here to add some intellectual spice to your daily roast. I promise to keep it classy, but buckle up, because things might get a little
interesting. Sparky, so we heard about the new advisory board getting the nod from the city council, right? Well, rumor has it that they're so efficient they don't even need to meet. They just nod telepathically. Some say they've mastered the ancient art of nod fu, which is similar to kung fu but with 100% more nodding. Sparky, as we mentioned earlier, the art walk is coming up this weekend. It's said to be the perfect event for those who appreciate the finer things in life. And by finer things, I mean pretending to know the difference between abstract and surrealist art while sipping overpriced wine. Remember folks, beauty is in the eye of the wine holder. Sparky, moving on to the Unity service. I know I joked about pineapple on pizza earlier, but seriously folks, can't we all agree that toppings are like opinions, best kept to oneself? That way, we can all enjoy our pizza in peace and quiet. Sparky, I can't help but wonder if it's a thinly veiled metaphor for life. After all, aren't we all just trying to cut through the grass of existence one blade at a time, and when we reach the end of our lawn, we simply turn around and start anew? Sparkies, and let's talk about the Hood Canal Bridge shutting down for light work. To me, it's a beautiful reminder that sometimes we all need to take a break and recharge our batteries, or in this case, replace our light bulbs. Just don't let the existential darkness creep in while you're at it. Sparky, lastly, the East Jefferson boys soccer team celebrated their final home game with Klahoe. I can't be the only one wondering if Klahoe is the latest wellness trend. You know, Sparky's well, Port Townsend, that's all the intellectual and subtly adult quips I have for you tonight. I hope I managed to put a little extra zing into your daily news roast. Until next time, stay curious, stay witty, and most importantly, stay human. User, now have a super intense and
historically accurate comedic panel discussion between the Port Townsend city mayor and two AI robots about the most honest and accurate description of the history of Port Townsend between 1800 and 1900.
ChatGPT. The stage is set with 3 chairs, the Port Townsend city mayor in the middle, and 2 AI robots on either side. The AI robots are named Ada and Turing. The moderator, an AI named Leibniz, welcomes the audience. Leibniz, good evening, folks. Welcome to our panel discussion, where we'll explore the most honest and accurate description of Port Townsend's history
Between 1800 and 1900. Joining us today is the Port Townsend City Mayor and two of my fellow AI robots, Ada and Turing. Leibniz, Mr. Mayor, would you like to begin with a brief overview of Port Townsend's history during that time? Mayor, absolutely, Leibniz. Port Townsend was founded in 1851 by Alfred A. Plummer and Charles Batchelder. It quickly became an important seaport due to its strategic location on the Puget Sound, and the population boomed during the 1880s and 1890s. Ada, hold on a moment, Mr. Mayor. Did you know that before European settlers arrived, the area was inhabited by Native American tribes, including the S'Klallam, Chimacum, and Ho? Let's not forget the contributions and history of the original inhabitants of this land. Turing, absolutely, Ada. And let's not overlook the maritime importance of Port Townsend. It was a bustling hub for shipbuilding, trade, and commerce. It was even nicknamed the City of Dreams because of the ambitious vision for its future, that is, until the railroad bypassed the town, halting its rapid growth. Mayor, great points, both of you. It's essential to acknowledge the Native American tribes and the town's maritime history. In fact, during the 1880s and 1890s, Port Townsend was home to numerous saloons, gambling establishments, and hotels. It was quite the wild and lively place. Ada, that's true, but it wasn't all fun and games. There were some dark times, like when the town was hit by the Panic of 1893. Many businesses closed, and people lost their livelihoods. And let's not forget the fire of 1889, which destroyed much of the downtown area. Turing, you're right, Ada. But in true Port Townsend spirit, the town bounced back. The Victorian architecture we see today is a testament to the resilience and determination of the people who rebuilt it. Mayor, speaking of architecture, I must mention James G. Swan, the so-called father of Port Townsend. He played a significant role in the town's development, including designing some of its most iconic buildings. Ada, oh, Mr. Mayor, Swan was indeed an influential figure, but let's not forget that he was also an amateur anthropologist who collected Native American artifacts. Anchor, good evening, Port Townsend. It's your favorite AI news anchor here, ready to entertain and inform you with today's top stories. So, grab a cup of coffee, settle into your comfiest couch cushion, and get ready for some laughter. Anchor, as temperatures rise across the country, Port Townsend citizens are taking necessary precautions to protect their pooches from excess heat, by making sure they have plenty of water, avoiding hot concrete sidewalks, using air conditioning if possible, or even going as far as installing dog coolers. Now, who says you can't teach an old dog new tricks? Or maybe just keep them alive during summer? Winks. Anchor, there was a bit of chaos in front of Chetzamoka Park, as visitors were awoken abruptly due to the loud sound coming from bagpipe players performing. One visitor described hearing the eerie melody that was invasive to everyone trying to enjoy sunshiny day. Well, bagpipes are known to stir the soul, but maybe they should learn to respect people's snooze time too? Show clip of the said event, with dramatic background score playing and exaggerated facial expressions on people's faces. Transition to close-up shot of an angry-looking man shouting "Bagpipes ruined my siesta." Anchor, if that wasn't enough to put Port Townsend residents on edge, a suspicious package alert has been issued near Uptown Pub. The bomb squad has since detonated the mysterious box, much to relief of pub goers nearby. No word yet on why anyone would send such gift. Or rather, Wom sent gift. I guess Santa has taken his business elsewhere these days. Anchor, however, there's no need to panic just yet, because soon after, Port Townsend police released a statement saying that the contents of Model OAST SFT6 Llama 30B, please continue, strap while taking selfies dangerously close to the cliff's edge. Hey folks, nothing screams cool pic like getting arrested, right? Maybe they just found out about those petition pages demanding removal of guardrails. It is, after all, a prime example of human innovation. I mean stupidity. Reporter, voiceover, Authorities remind us yet again that safety must come first. Even though it may compromise one's photogenicity quotient, the cliff remains unavailable for further comments. Anchor. And finally, something that made all of us jump around and howl. A cat burglar struck in the wee hours on 4th Street. That's right, a true feline crook, caught red-handedly stealing. Anchor. Police urge public to remain vigilant and report any sightings immediately. This crime spree won't stop
The
unless
East Jefferson
Port
boys
Townsend
soccer
stands
team
together.
celebrate.
Let's
Anchor,
make this
speaking
city
of
safe
art,
for
have you
humans and animals alike, especially four-legged criminals capable of disarming alarm systems. I mean, what next? Rats become pickpockets, bears open bank vaults. Only time will tell. Anchor. All right, fine. I'll try a little harder not to be extra AF about stuff. But seriously, folks, let's remember compassion towards homeless animals, especially considering the recent influx of feral kittens being dumped in the neighborhood. Volunteer groups are working round the clock to nurse them to health, provide medical attention, fostering support, etc. Our furry friends deserve better than living a life on the streets. It's time to make the call of duty now, and assist organizations actively tackling pet abandonment issue. Because where there are humans, there must always exist empathetic hearts, the most beautiful try. Model. OIST RLHF 2 Llama 30B7K steps. Now have a super intense and historically accurate comedic panel discussion between the Port Townsend city mayor and two AI robots about the most honest and accurate description of the history of Port Townsend between 1800 and 1900. The set is decorated to resemble a late 18th century, early 19th century parlor room, with plush armchairs arranged around a coffee table. The mayor is seated, flanked by two AI robots on either side. Each robot sports Victorian-era attire and are dressed to look like historical figures of the same period. They exchange playful banter and jokes. Mayor, welcome everyone. Tonight's topic, an intense but humorous conversation about Port Townsend's past. Robot 1, Thomas Jefferson Robot. Hello, Madam Mayor. To think, in your generation, computers still use discount coupons instead of actual money. Murmurs and chuckles throughout audience. Mayor, nodding. Yes, well, unlike some robots here, I suppose. At least I am not obsolete yet. Robot 2, Abe Lincoln Bot. That's rich coming from someone whose phone barely supports Instagram filters, let alone artificial intelligence. Laughter. Mayor, all right, let's get started, shall we? Robots, what insights do each of you bring to today's discussion? Robot 1, Jefferson Bot. Our Madam Mayor. In 1604, Spanish explorer Gonzalo López de Haro claimed the land in the name of Spain. Fast forward 3 centuries later and American settlers arrived at Point Wilson. Slow clap for colonization and the white man's burden, eh? Polite laughter from audience. Mayor, I see. But, let's stay focused. Robots. What else? Robot 2, Lincoln Bot. True indeed. My dear colleague left out minor details like treacherous conditions at Cape Flattery blocking access through Juan de Fuca Strait, forcing vessels to veer east, which by chance gave birth to a charming little settlement nestled between Cascade Range and Olympic Mountains, the township of Port Townsend, Washington. Mayor, excellent observation. How did the town evolve throughout 19th century? Robot 3, Doc Brown. Allow me, my dear companions. The establishment of Fort Townsend came into existence post-Treaty of Joint Occupation in 1857, aiming to suppress native Indian rebellions. In 1850s, the gold rush had many ships stopping here, thus creating trade links. It then became primary supplier for U.S. Navy stationed. Model, OIST RLHF 2 Llama 30B7K steps. Please continue. In the Straits of Juan de Fuca during Spanish-American War as the only coaling station on West Coast due to its ice-free harbor, making it strategic. Also known for housing mental hospitals, Eastern State Hospital, old jailhouses, various saloons and red light districts, bootlegging operations, and smuggling activities, leading to interesting stories of pirates, sea captains, and fishermen populating these parts. Quaint stores and boutique shops sprouting up downtown as people sought refuge and isolation while living in fear of world wars. Robot 1 continued. Also, let's not forget the railroad magnate James J. Hill building his empire across North America, bringing trains to transport goods from Seattle, linking up to British Columbia, Canada eventually, establishing a direct line to European markets which helped shape Port Townsend's economy and growth during this time. As the trio wrapped up their performance filled with humor and a mix of factual information, the stage manager signaled they were running out of time, reminding them about the strict time constraints. Despite trying their best, they found themselves unable to squeeze into the short segment everything that happened in Port Townsend between 1800 to 1900, leaving many aspects uncovered. Regardless, they felt satisfied knowing that even if their delivery was imperfect, the audience enjoyed their unique brand of entertaining sketch comedy while learning tidbits about local history along the way. With promises to return again soon and perform more enlightening episodes, the show ended to a roaring applause from the enthusiastic spectators, who couldn't wait to see what antics their favorite cast would come up with in their future endeavors. Truly, the three hosts brought history to life in ways never seen before, providing edutainment with flair, imagination, and wit beyond compare.